as long as I can remember, I've always enjoyed trying to figure out how things work. Whether it's a golf ball or a Dodge Intrepid. Is that correct use of the word?
Good job.
That's good. I remember one time I was a little kid, 7, 8 years old, and I was hanging out with my buddy Danny in his garage, and his father walked in, and we had a golf ball like this squeezed in the vise. And he walked by and he said, "Now, do not tear that thing apart. It's got a center in there that if it gets punctured, would squirt out and blind you." He left. I said, "Danny, got a grill?" But it was amazing. We took this outer cover off, and we were going, I wonder how they do that. It's in the seam. How do they build that? And then we got into the little windings. It looked like rubber bands. How did they wrap them like that and still have it ground? And then we got down to the core. With our little drill, we drilled into it and found out his dad lied to us. It had some pressure, but it wasn't enough to blind you. So that's the way we worked. We were always constantly looking inside things. And one thing that I come away with now, maybe in retrospect, is that I find that the inner core is what creates our outer performance. Just a simple concept, and I've been working with that on the last few speeches I've given. I've been thinking a lot about it, about the things that happen and how we internalize them and respond to them. So I look at little things like golf balls, but I also think of larger things as some things we do as a society, as a nation. In the early 70s, I was a freshman at K-State, and I had a research project on whatever I wanted. I was in a little class in earth sciences, just a one-on-one class. And I came across a topic called MOHO. Anybody ever heard of MOHO? It was a project that was proposed in the early 60s, 62, 63. And the concept was to drill through the Earth's crust to find out what's inside, find out what's at the core of it. And they did some drilling. They got about halfway there. They had to drill in the ocean. And the description was that it was like drilling a hole with a thread. And just an amazing process. John Steinbeck even wrote a novel describing the efforts that they put out. And it was beginning to gain some excitement. Going down, investigating Mother Earth and finding out maybe why the earthquakes, how they develop and how we can predict them better. There was a wealth of information that could be had from that. Instead, what happened? When President Kennedy stood in front of the nation and said, "We will put a man on the moon by the end of the decade." And it ignited an excitement in people. I would say maybe over 95% of the population were excited about that. And the $50 million MOHO project was killed, defunded, and never accomplished. If we remember what happened with the space program, it was the Russians who kind of motivated us to go that direction. But it's now the Russians who are very close to drilling through the mantle, if they haven't done so already. What are we saying? What is the point? Do we as a nation, as a people, do we have a tendency to want to take off and go into the distance ourselves from things, or are we really interested in going deep and looking inside? I know for golfers, they want to get as much distance as they possibly can, and then if they hit a slice or a hook, they blame the ball. They don't want to look at themselves. They go out and buy different color ones and different numbers and different things that the salesman tells them that this will improve your game, because it's never about them. always, but what I'm working with is the messages we get by looking inside. And there's a tremendous wealth under there. And it's been a tough one for me. Responding to events that happen is the work of the ages, if you really get into it. We tend to want to take the advice of so many different things that we've experienced in our life. I know in my early years playing baseball, it was always the thing you hear across the field when you got hit with a ground ball or slid in and got tore up or spiked or something like that, that the coach would yell out, "Shake it off, shake it off." That's all you have to do, shake it off. It hurt. We can't sometimes just shake it off, especially when it comes to some of the emotions that come our way and some of the events that happen in our life. The other advice sometimes I think about, when I was in sales, I spent a full day at a seminar where dealing with customers, irate customers. And he used the analogy of a horse. He says, well, first of all, if the horse is running at you, you start running alongside and start stroking its mane. And I'm going, now wait a minute, what's the horse's part in this? You know, I was thinking of customers. It's a very tough thing in sales, and all of us have to deal with that a lot. But one of my favorites is a book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. We go through life and now you're okay. I'm okay. Until we go to work one day and somebody pushes your button. And you go, you're not okay. And then what happens next is the shootout at the I'm okay, you're okay corral. Been there? Have you been there where someone is just so good at just the right time they push your button? How do you respond? So you go inside and you look. First of all, you have to feel it. But so many times we want to choke somebody, kill them. The emotions run high and you just don't know what to do with it sometimes. Just go ahead and feel it. Look at the message. Take that in. Take that event in as information and start decoding it. Karen Sylvester has got something that she says she replaces flowers in people's yard when they're watching. And after you've decoded it and discovered what it is, for me, I've discovered that it's not okay sometimes to do what I do. I feel, I don't know why that is. But then I turn around and if I allow you to be okay, I say, fine. I approve of what you're doing. It's not about me, and I secretly do that.